It's
seen
just
again, like they have videos where the girls, they like people send them tips and shit, and they got that machine strapped to them, right? So every time somebody send a tip, like the machine start fucking around. Yo,
You
you
talking
got
about the
the
cam girls?
technology. Yeah. And they got that dildo type thing that be fucking them. And every time people
kind of like
send
we're
them
doing
money,
right
like
now.
they be going hard.
No, no,
I
we
don't
not
know
doing
about that, bro. We not doing that. Like, Wigga, what the fuck you talking about?
It's not that type of party, bro.
Keys in the basket.
Hey, Jack. Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
technology is turned up now, man. Hey, you guys, don't mind me. I'm just plain spoken. I am by no means a racist.
Yeah,
I
he
just
is racist,
Uh,
don't
one
mean
eight
to
seven.
listen
27.
to
Don't
it.
lie. Don't lie.
Whatever.
Because look at this.
Whatever
This
you gotta
guy
tell
right
yourself.
here, base said he's that ninja. You know what I'm saying? So he's, you know what I
he that
mean?
Wigga. Respect. Yeah,
The
man.
great white ninja.
I don't know why I said that. I just felt like I had to
Bumba
put that
Clyde.
out there.
I love it.
Hey, base.
Oh,
Just
no,
say
I
it's
love
Bumba
it.
Clyde
basically
back to him. Just say Bumba Clyde every time he say something.
Bumba
You
cloud.
feel?
Bumba clot. Here's the thing. I am just so you all know,
Yeah,
I
we
am
get it.
4.4% North African, if that makes a difference.
Damn, nigga, Wigga, you should have
All
left
right.
that out.
No. Look,
Mic
I'm
drop.
serious. I took a 23andMe. They don't lie. Or maybe they do. Who
Don't
knows?
lie. Yeah, that's what's up.
They were trying to make you feel more ethnic.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't pay extra for that feature. I was just like, tell me the truth. That's what it said.
Damn.
You know what that buys you? That buys you a letter. You could use the end letter, not the word.
Okay, I get one letter. I like it. All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Very good. So I could be like, what up, my
Not you,
N?
not you, not you, Uncle Fatty. You know what I'm saying? You're not one of us. You know what I mean?
You gotta work for it. You gotta show us that
There's a
ancestry
lot
document.
of
You gotta-
N words up here where I live, guys. A lot of N words for sure up here where I live.
Damn.
Nazis.
I feel. Oh yeah.
Good one. Good one.
I know, right? They're fucking everywhere.
Base, you got it. Hey, base, you got it. You know what I'm saying? You got to tighten him up. You one of us know. You know what I mean?
I've been one of you. You just didn't know
Paperwork.
it. You didn't
You
know
got
it.
your paperwork. You know what I mean? Like, hey,
Yeah. I got my 23andMe results. You know.
yeah. You know
Submit
what?
it
It's
later
because
on.
we don't know you guys. Yeah. We ain't want y'all to feel uncomfortable. We just fucking around.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
We just with you.
Trust me, my panels are quite a bit worse.
I seen you on Sarah's,
Yeah.
Sarah's panel, Raging Tomatoes. I
Yeah.
kind of like over there. I like Sarah. Sarah's cool.
Yeah.
Drop
We've
your
had some
link in
good
the
conversations
drop-
on there.
Drop your link in the private
Great
chat so I could
Cool.
you could go ahead and subscribe.
But yeah, somebody here had
Yeah, I was
mentioned
just about to
earlier
bring up.
about
go
you know,
ahead.
the division going on, and I just thought that was a good point. I see that as the biggest problem in America is all the division that we have right now is leading to us not coming together, and that goes for men and women, that goes for the race, the cultural, everything that you can look at, all the different divisions, the political lines. And because we have all this division, well, think about it. That's what one in power looking to do nefarious things would want. They want the people divided because then the people cannot come together to fight back the real, true oppression.
That's a fact. That's a 100% fact.
Okay, well,
What
making
is
this
the
a
real
racial
truth?
topic.
It's the
And
old
what is the true
magician trick.
oppression?
I showed. Say it again.
And what is the true oppression?
Well, I think in a kind of meta scale, right, like moving away from just government structure, things like that, is people on the whole are very drugged up. People are, in a sense, being oppressed from reality. And I know technology was brought up. We brought up different laws going on. The idea of dwindling, I don't know if this actually came up, but dwindling rights in America via more and more laws every fucking day. And it's only a matter of time until the slippery slope till, they go for the hard grab on firearms, like you were just getting at. And what would things be like then? right? Because you could still make firearms. People will still be able to get them. But with that being kind of, right, we're going back to like Germany type shit there.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah, I think the firearm stuff is just I think it's a push button topic. I think it's a trigger topic. It's never going to happen, right?
Yeah, I don't think
it's actually the citizens that are crying for more regulation. It's not the government that's crying for the more regulation. It's the citizens, and the government's just not doing anything because we can't. We just can't. There's nothing we can do. Like,
well, think about it though, Fatty. That's inception that you're describing, right? People want their own oppression. That's fucking inception, right? How can we get the people that want themselves enslaved, themselves oppressed?
Right.
Who's the oppressor?
Right.
Zyrax from the chat. Shouts out to Zyrax. She wants to know who is the oppressor.
Right. So the oppressor is a multitude of people that we probably don't know most of, but, you know, obviously they have money, they have influence, they have power, and I think they are behind the government. But here's where we get into trouble, start bringing up terms that are tinfoily. So I'm not looking to put a term on it. I'm just saying that people who are wildly using lack of discretion, you know, being evil, nefarious with that power are, you know, conquering. And right now, I'd say everyone is in the lower class. Unless you're rich, you're in the fucking lower class. The middle class, gone.
Yeah. It was touched on with the corporations earlier, right? The corporations are who's behind the money, right? Always follow the money. The money's Citizens United, having corporations like the NRA being able to dump billions of dollars into the political atmosphere. When I was a kid, when I was in like grade school, Boy Scouts, right? Learning how to shoot. You couldn't go buy a silhouetted target. You could not buy a target with a human silhouette on it. And that's all you can find nowadays, right? The culture of the gun lobby, right, has changed the whole world, really. And, you know, I've got guys that wear like tactical gear around town and carry 2 pistols and an AR on their shoulder, like everywhere they go. Grocery store, doesn't matter. Like, the government's not going to come for us. Okay. Let's just, like, if they do, it's going to be with like big ass bombs and probably more something like cutting the power for 3 or 4 months.
So let me ask you this, Uncle Fatty. You say
legislation.
I would love.
You saying, let me ask you this. Give me a minute on manners for algorithm. Let me ask you this thing, Uncle Fatty. So you saying those guys are like paranoid, like they shouldn't be walking around with that stuff?
Yeah, and I think most of the guys that walk around like that are fucking jackasses, straight up. There's something about the concealed weapons permit that is real. You know, you're a protector of society, so to say. You don't want people to know that you're armed because then you become the first target, right? In situations, and it's more of a bravado thing where these guys move here from out of town or out of state, and bring in this, you know, put on their cowboy hat and pretend like they're out in the fucking boot. Like, we're a big city. We're right next to Spokane. North Idaho is really kind of rural, a lot of rednecky.
Oh, you're in Washington, bro?
Southern boys.
You're in Washington?
Yeah, I'm basically right next to Spokane. And yeah, I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love Spokane, man. That's a beautiful place.
It's fucking great up here.
Vineyards and that's my favorite thing to do when I went there to visit.
I can't agree. It's foolish to walk around. It's very foolish to walk around with your weapons exposed like that, because now everyone knows who's the target.
Yeah.
So I can definitely agree with you.
And it makes civilians uncomfortable. And it makes civilians uncomfortable too, bro. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know if somebody got PTSD from the military. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like filming in public, though. Like the citizenry, we need to be used to that. Like, it's not against the fucking law, you know. So that's something where there's a stigma that just needs to be overcome. But, you know, when it comes down to it,
but you still think citizens should have but you still think citizens should be armed, though, right, Uncle Fatty? You still think citizens should be armed, though?
Yeah.
But
concealed carry, absolutely. Yeah.
If you think that, then why would you not think that the government wouldn't come for us?
I think, well, if the government's going to come for us, then I want some F-35s. I want a nuclear sub. There's a guy up here in Tonasket, a little north of Spokane, that owns a operational tank.
One thing the government
and shoots off, 7mm howitzer rounds. Like, so if I,
the only time the government is going to come for you is if you're a threat to national security, bro. If you're just a citizen just doing a thing or something,
there's no money.
Come at you. The way the government try to come at you is legislators. That's how they're going to come at you. That's how they've been winning most of their political wars. It's through legislation, and that's why I always encourage
who writes the legislation
to literally know who you're voting in office, not just president. I'm talking about your county commissioners. Know who they are, know what they stand for. Most people don't even know the district.
My commissioners hate me. Yep, exactly. Yeah, we just had past Thursday had our caucus, 30%, 31% turnout. And we got a guy running around here on city council that's got a 13-inch swastika on his chest that won by 17 votes last year.
But you know what that is, man. Though. That's people not knowing who their county commissioners are. And when you don't know who they are, and the sad part about it is most places have it live when they have their county commissioners meeting. You could just pull it up and see what's coming out of their mouth to see if you're going to vote on them. But most people don't know it, and that's harmful.
Don't give a fuck. Most people don't give a fuck.
Right.
The thing is those same people that you speak to, those same people that you speak to that don't give a fuck, complain about the things that the county commissioner is actually talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Complaining about it.
I mean, it don't make no sense.
You got to be involved. There's something to the argument of, my not voting, me not voting is a third option. But that's just not, it just doesn't, there's no,
I haven't voted
resolve.
In quite some time. I don't know the last time I voted. I see it as very pointless at this point.
Exactly. That's how I feel about it, bro.
I've never voted my entire life.
But it's not.
Me neither.
It's just not.
I'm not trying to be funny.
I hear you saying it's not.
I'm not against nobody who exercise their right to vote, you know what I'm saying? But I exercise my right to not give a fuck and believe none of that shit.
For real, bro.
I don't believe it's real.
Pay my taxes, though. I'll still pay my taxes, though. I don't want no problem.
Yeah, I don't trust in the counting.
One thing I always do when I have conversations and it gets political, I always try to, induce knowing these local bodies. Because when you don't know these local bodies, you don't actually know what's going on. So I'll say, hey, what district you're in? And if they tell me they don't know, I say, well, you need to figure that out. You need to know what district you're in, figure out what's going on, because you're in a house where you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
See,
and we got a lot of that complacency. People don't know, and everybody's bitching. Everybody's bitching, and nobody knows shit about the system or
they don't know anything.
In general, I agree with the counting of the stuff. Could be.
I don't trust
potentially slightly flawed.
Yeah,
but I work the polls. I've been working the polls for the past 20 years.
I don't trust the meter, but what I do trust is my eyes and my ears. What I mean about that is, here every Tuesday they have it, and you can pull it up on YouTube and watch what they're talking about, see what they're turning down, see what they're big upping, and see just what direction that they're heading in. And then I could determine if you're a person that's for me in my county or not. A lot of people don't take action to it.
Where are you in, Algorithm? What state you in? What state are you in?
Oh, Florida. I'm in Florida.
Okay, you in Florida. Okay.
But most
country.
Most people don't know, and that's what's scary to me. Really think about this, you guys, and this is why I can't fight you guys for not voting. Most people go to the polls and they only know the president they want to select. They don't know nothing about the judges. They don't know anything about the council. They don't know anything. They don't know anything else on the ballot. They're
Bro, I'm
just
not gonna hold you.
sound
I'm not
similar.
gonna, I'm not gonna hold you still, bro. But to me, in my opinion, let's say the president of the United States, right? Regardless of whether it's Biden or Trump, in my opinion, there is an agenda and there's somebody that is appointing that is providing that job to somebody, and there is a list of things that you need to do. Fuck whatever you come and tell the people that you're gonna do for them. There is a scope of work associated with your job that you must complete. So all the things that them I promise to them I do for people that just to me that come like bullshit.
That's the thing. You just can't listen to them in November. And that's what a lot of people do. They just listen to them for that time period. You gotta actually be involved when it comes towards it. That way you're more educated.
I'll tell you why they just listen to them, Manosphere. Because a lot of people are fucking intellectually lazy. And you can tell, and people are never honest and say, look, I don't know much about a certain topic. I need to research and learn about it. No, people just spew off regurgitated rhetoric that they heard from one or two third party. Right. And that's what they just stand on. Because there's a lot of people too that are not, they don't have the range, and on top of it, they're too intellectually lazy to figure out and try to critically think and learn or study.
Hold on, because we got somebody like Candace Owens that's she admitted that she wasn't into politics at all.
Yeah,
and you see her I think 18th letter. I think some people just don't be interested in that shit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I see a lot of working class people who's like, because you got to remember, a lot of working class people barely have time for their kids. You know what I'm saying? Between working all day and shit.
They got time for YouTube. They have time. They got time.
You gotta put your look. Are you like you gotta put yourself in the mind of you gotta put your what I'm saying. You gotta put yourself in the shoes of a working class person who is busy all the time, bro. Some people even got two jobs. They don't even got the time to even take that shit in. You know what I'm saying? They're not even exposed to stuff like that. I'm not saying it's a cop out or is an excuse, but I'm just giving it. I'm just trying to have a little empathy so I could understand.
You make a valid point, Witch Doctor. You make a valid point, brother. You definitely.
He does, but I wonder what the Netflix hours look like. I'm pretty sure they got more Netflix hours.
I'm pretty sure Netflix is raising their kids, and that's what is who's running up the Netflix hours.
Yeah. So one thing I want to point out here is that none of the politicians
curriculum doesn't even guide us in that direction.
So my big problem with voting, just to kind of make this point, is there's no accountability. Seemingly no accountability for the corrupt political leaders that we have. And I don't need to name any. This isn't what that's about. But the point is, if I'm going to vote, if I'm going to trust the system, I want to be able to watch them or be involved in yanking them the fuck out of those chairs. Yet it doesn't happen.
I agree with that. That I agree with. And and you see with that now, with that happening now, that just proves that there's an agenda, because once these people are there and they get the thing, there's a big fight to get them out. Even with the impeachment of Donald Trump, that should never fucking happen. He lost his whole 4 years.
They should have more accountability than the average person.
Yeah, but see, that's when it's ran by that's when it's ran for the people. Unfortunately, politicians is not ran for the people. It's ran on behalf of corporations. The only difference between the Republicans and the Democrats is that the Democrats want to bring people over here to work to work the minuscule, low-paying jobs, and the Republicans just ship them overseas. If anybody remember in the 1970s and in the 60s, all of the different steel factories, the automotive industry in Detroit, all of the meat packing plants and different things like that, they shipped those jobs overseas, and they shipped them overseas because they was able to get cheaper. They was able to get cheaper labor and make more money. So they didn't. They a lot of. I hate to say it, but really, this government never really cared about the American people. It's always been,
dude, because it's a fucking business. It's a business.
This is why I'm not voting.
A lot of that had to do with the EPA.
Yeah. Let me ask y'all this.
That works.
And yes, this is because you're white. Of course it is. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm and don't feel uncomfortable. I'm appreciative to have a wider perspective. You know what I'm saying?
That's you, Fatty.
You over here.
Yeah.
What you say?
I'm all about perspective.
Yeah. He was talking to Fatty.
Yeah, exactly, Fatty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what do you got? Yeah, what's up?
But what do you guys think about immigration? I'm actually an immigrant, if you can't tell.
Me too.
I think that immigration has been a part of this country since its inception, and that's what has built the country in many different ways. I don't see anything wrong with it. As far as people not going through the immigration channels, that should not happen. Otherwise, those laws should not exist.
Okay.
Fair
what
point.
About you, Uncle Fatty?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So
I chased hailstorms and tornadoes around for a couple of years.
And not to cut you, Uncle
and got
Fatty,
into spots and like
you more like of a conservative, right? Based Oracle.
Oh no. Well, I would, if I was going to be in the political arena, it'd probably be as a libertarian. So debatably in between the fake Democrats and fake Republicans.
Yeah.
The difference is he actually knows what a libertarian means. And we got this other guy that runs around YouTube trying to pretend that he's a libertarian and has no clue what he's talking about.
Are you talking about I-Fi?
Over here we call names. We call names over here.
I-Fi. Yeah, I-Fi has a way of trying to push buttons with being a self-prescribed, self-described libertarian who's basically just a red pill freak. But immigration is absolutely necessary. We can't maintain our growth. The boomers are dying off. Yeah, the Gen Zers are getting married. They actually are. They're just not having kids until later in life. You know, they're not in that sphere of the having kids when they're 20. It's moving into their late 20s. As a contractor, FEMA contractor, I helped in Katrina. I went down after the Moore, Oklahoma tornado and did a year in Oklahoma and Kansas, chasing tornadoes, chasing hailstorms. You get into some of these communities where you literally you cross the tracks. Yeah.
So you're a storm chaser. So they
good money.
Okay, I was just about to ask you that. It's good money. How do they pay you per storm?
We had kind of, yeah. So
per
like
inch?
Last week.
Is it per inch, Fatty?
Yeah, last Thursday. Kind of, yeah, by the size of the hail.
Okay.
I've been hit with 4-inch hail. I've held a 22.5 pound fucking
like in your
small
head?
like football, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, that hit you?
I took 4 inches. I was working with no, that one went through 5/8 OSB, double 5/8 layer drywall, and landed on the lady's car and still dented the car.
Oh damn! In a garage, eh?
That was in that 4-inch storm. I was working as a spotter for State Farm. Yeah. There was we had up to 9-inch hail in that storm. It was fucked up. That was at 2015, 16 with the Moore, Oklahoma tornado and all that stuff. Yeah, it was intense. We just had the same thing last week, all the way from Texas to the Great Lakes.
That sounds like a town-wide insurance claim. That sounds like a whole lot of fucking money.
It's like a comet. You know what I'm saying? Like a mini comet.
Declared disaster zone. And, there's $5 billion, guys, $5 billion every year set aside by 4 different insurance companies just for hail, not even counting the wind and everything else that comes with the hailstorms. And like, we don't get that up here. People up here, like, they might have a flood or they might have something happen and they won't file a claim. they go years without filing a claim on their homeowner's insurance. And all that money gets funneled into hail damage, right? But with that said, we had like six crews of Mexicans, straight up, like, Mexicans. We get into certain spots of certain counties, and you'd get the old lady that would be like, "So, your crews, are they Mexican or are they black? Because we don't want them black boys around here. We want those Mexican crews, right? Because they've been through this. This happens every 5 years. They get new roofs every 5 to 10 years. And for real, like old."
What happened?
He's on mute.
Uncle Fatty.
Yeah, for real, like that. Where I'm like,
the Illuminati and want Uncle Fatty.
Where I'm trying to. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want no black boys around.
Some spots were different where. Yeah, and are very very upfront about it. That there are crews of black guys that run around and do this, and they do just as good a quality. They do just as good a speed and time and cleanliness. But man, some of those spots, I mean, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, I mean, but then on the same token, like I got into, we were north of Hutchinson. I think we were in Hutchinson, Kansas. And there was a couple of communities that, off the side subdevelopments where the black folks lived. They were primarily black neighborhoods. And this one house on the corner had like a 6-inch stick, a branch poking out of the fucking roof for months on end. Months, dude. I finally went and knocked on the door. Finally got the lady to answer the door. And it was like Aunt Pearl or something, and nice old gal. She rented the place. And I knocked on the door a few times, and her landowner would not file a claim on the house. And that the whole neighborhood needed new roofs, and none of the owners would do anything about it, right? So I finally went over one afternoon when I was waiting for my crews, pulled the stick out, patched the roof, put some shingles on it for free, right? And she was just so fucking happy. We were staying at the Ramada, I don't know, 2-3 miles away. And I had my electric guitar set up in my work truck where I could plug my guitar into my amplifier and play through my truck. Was out in the parking lot fucking jamming. Here comes pack of 6 big black dudes, straight thugging. And I thought I was going to fucking die. It was Aunt Pearl's nephew. Right?
It was straight thugging.
There was some big niggas.
Pimp walking, and got the the blaster, got the radio going, and I thought, I mean, I don't know, obviously they wanted to come thank me.
Your life was over.
I ended up selling that whole section of another 30-40 fucking roofs to get done, and stayed in Hutchinson for like another another month and a half, almost 2 months. Didn't leave down there till like late November. And didn't make shit for money on those ones, but at least we got the jobs done, and had the black crews go and do the work in those areas. So, I've seen racism in so many different ways.
Hey, did you go to the cookout?
When it comes to immigration, we cannot go without it. Oh yeah, shit. Every couple of nights. Every couple of nights we have somebody be feeding me. Yeah. Making lunch. Oh yeah, barbecuing.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Hold on. What was your favorite? What was your favorite thing that he gave you to eat? What was your favorite thing that he gave you to eat?
Oh man, the guy did a jambalaya that was the best jambalaya I'd ever had. Okay. And I've been to the South. I've been to Louisiana and shit. Creole boy. You can barely understand this guy.
I thought you were going to say fried chicken.
Yeah, no, that's not as common as you would think, really. It's not as common as you would think, really. Yeah.
What's wrong with fried chicken, bro?
Yeah, a lot of ribs, a lot of brisket. Some fried.
Yo, 187, you gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill.
That is fun. Yeah, we just, he know
Only
that
during
we playing,
watermelon
man.
season,
Come on,
right?
we're just having fun.
Wait, what?
Yeah, only in the fall. Only in the fall. You can't have,
Wait. You can't say watermelon.
Yeah.
Well, let me. I want to ask. I want to ask you guys a question. Boss, Base Oracle, and Uncle Fatty, because you guys seem to be well versed in some of the things. So let me ask you a quick question. Based off American history, do you think that America has been trained to be anti-black, especially with this perception, the history, laws, the policies, different things like
systemic.
that? Yeah, systemic.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a part of where I live still. North Idaho, we're so cut off away from Boise, being like an 8-hour drive south. Nobody knows anything about much, but our local politics are still very heavily influenced by the leftover 1960s, 70s, 80s, and 90s white power movement. No, the Klan's still down south. The Aryan nations, not the Aryan Brotherhood, the Aryan nations. Yeah, they had their national headquarters up here, basically in the same town that I live in. And so you think of the Brotherhood, the AB, they're more jail kind of gang related.
Yeah, that's a prison gang.
Right, but they get out and come into these different factions of Proud Boys are not white power. Patriot Front kind of white power a little bit. So I live in the town where 2 summers ago there was the 30 guys in the back of the U-Haul that got caught trying to bust our gay event that we had down for Pride Month. Anyhow,
you were
very we have our yearly gathering or whatever, for Pride Month. They have their day in the parade, day in the park. They have their parade and their day in the park. Same thing that the Nazis do in August, where they get to walk down the roads, flying their flags, boot stepping, full dress, like dyed in the flesh, like real, actual self-proclaimed boot stepping, cosplaying, flag flying Nazis. And we don't discriminate. If we discriminate against the Nazis and say you can't march here and have your day in the park, we get sued for discrimination.
Just like I think you're getting into the weeds a bit there, Fatty. Like in terms
it is,
of,
but on paper, there's not a lot of there's nothing written, but there is systemic.
There's no
people
law
in the system still, right? That still use the laws in manipulated ways, right? And
yeah, no doubt.
So
I'm gonna have a little bit different take on this than Fatty, maybe, in that to answer your question, to answer directly, the answer is yes. However, I would also add to that that there are plenty of other different divisions of people, meaning, right, has the country been anti-men, anti-woman, anti-family, anti-education, right? There's anti-Asian, anti-Mexican. It depends on where you are. The times have changed, obviously, in good ways, bad ways. And when I say bad ways, I just mean it seems like some group or groups are always getting the brunt end of the stick when it comes to hate. And at the end of the day, this hate and divisiveness affects many different people in different ways. And to some degree, right, you could look at anecdotes, Uncle Fatty describing some of his experiences. Other people in other areas have very different experiences, whether it's a different group or subset. But anyways, the answer is yes.
Yeah, and I would say this because you make a valid point when you say they've been anti other groups, but I would say not as nearly as much as they've been anti-black, because a lot of those other groups
Sure.
We're not,
I hear
not, you know, they were not brought here by force. And then on top of it, when you look at the history of Black people in this country, we've been here since the inception of this country. So most of the things that has transpired, we got the brunt of it. Like when you look at like between not just slavery, you know, but the legacy of slavery, the exclusion from the Homestead Act, redlining, blockbusting, the denial of FHA loans, racial housing covenants, Jim Crow, racial terrorism, job discrimination, the purging and burning of Black communities, eminent domain, urban renewal, underfunded schools, convict leasing, can't forget that one. All our leaders, Black leaders, been assassinated. The CIA with the whole Contra war, dumping drugs into the Black community. So it's been the 94 crime bill, the cocaine disparities, and even when you look at the 13th Amendment, the 13th Amendment was the war on drugs. The 13th Amendment was nothing but slavery redone in order to be able to, you know, find a way to use a ex-slave population for free labor, you know, to still find some use to that population. So I don't disagree, but like now the country has become anti-man and anti-family. But that's just within the recent 30 years, you can say. But like
I'd say 50 but either way you're right though. And I'm not taking away from any hate towards any groups ever. I'm all for the hate dissipating, and I'm just looking at it as people we've brought all of these bad things amongst ourselves, right? Why? I mean, some of the things that you brought up, right? You said Black people have been here in this country since the inception of it, right? I agree. With that said, why did that happen? One way I would look at it is because some people could, right? That in the power structure, the dynamics, the hierarchies, that was deemed as okay and acceptable. And I think we would all sit here and be like, that was completely unacceptable, as it is in other countries, right? There's many other countries that have had slavery of different races, not necessarily Black, right? China, I mean, really every
even
country
white people, even white people were slaves.
That's what I was
to an extent, but the difference between
earlier.
But the difference between them and a lot of, and like I said earlier as well, it's a difference between indentured servitude and absolute chattel slavery. And here
we really are in a new age time. This past 50 years, maybe 100 years of where humans haven't owned other humans.
And this country, or not, we were bred like animals. We was bred like cattle. Then when you look at, of course, the torture tactics, which actually the torture tactics that was used on slaves here were the same methods that was used for other white citizens in Europe to keep them in line, especially like in Britain and different places like that, when they, you know, when it was ran by monarchs. So a lot of the different things that was done here is very unique. Like maybe, you know, you can take Jamaica, Haiti, but for the most part, it was instill fear and instill fear into those people.
So I have a question for you on that too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, go right ahead.
You also got to. My bad. Go ahead, Base.
No, you go first. It's fine.
Also, we got to look at. I mean, that's my problem. I always look at stuff at a wider range, but just look at this. Everything was new here. When you're starting off a new company, everything, you get hit with a lot of different things and a lot of different ideas. So just think about this. United States, we're here when all the stuff started. So that puts us in a young state versus other countries. Other countries, they already were well established and already had that system working for them already. We were all coming at that particular time. Everything was new. So it's like everybody's trying to figure out how to work this system. And now we're to a point, which is horrible. Slavery was horrible, but now we're to a point where we're still young as a country.
But see, here's the thing, Manosphere. It's not slavery was just the beginning of it. What about everything that happened afterwards? That wasn't. And then on top of it, everyone that was migrated, everyone, like for instance, when you look at how the Irish was treated, right? The Irish was treated poorly, but still that didn't prevent, because here's one thing that I noticed when you're talking about immigration, or, you know, especially with other European groups at that particular time period. In order to feel better about a situation, you have to feel like you're better than somebody else. And of course, the Italians were anti-black. The Irish was anti-black. Certain Jewish, and they was not even considered white until the later end of the 20th century, where they were accepted into whiteness. Because in the beginning, they were discriminated against, excluded, but that did not prevent them from having those sentiments. Because a lot of people that are brought into this country are trained to be against black people for some reason. I don't know why, but it has been that way. And you know what I'm saying? So
well, I think the news is why, for one. And then we could go back into your points. I'm just saying that would lead into what has happened. And I guess what you're referring to, I think, would be like the reputation, which obviously has a lot of inaccuracy when you look at, we're all individuals, right? Not all white people are white trash or whatever the case, right? True. But nonetheless, there are stereotypes which are exaggerated at times, right? to make different groups look bad in different scenarios.
Yes. Yeah. And another thing too, to add to your point base, Oracle, if you look at the history of this country, even with the poor white people, they had to give poor white people racism and give them a little bit more benefits to keep them not looking at the rich white elite and the things that they were doing in order to you know, like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's even a quote by President Lyndon B. Johnson when he says, if you take the poorest white man and make him feel like he's better than the best black man, he'll literally give you the money out of his pocket. And that's exactly what has transpired. Yep. You know, in this country, you give these groups of poor white people, even though we don't feel like they're the same as us, we may call them white trash, but as long as we can tell them that they're better than black people, then we don't have to worry about a revolt or something similar, because they won't even be paying attention that we're ripping them off, which is what has transpired mostly when you look at the resources in this country, because the resources is really went to the elite.
Even if you peel it back, let's say we peel it back a little over 100 years. Once they gave the woman the right to vote, they started pushing stuff more in their direction. That's when they started dating, actually, because before you had to go through the father and everything. That started to change around 1920. As that built up, when we went to World War II, and they had all those posters that says, do the job he left behind. They were literally pinning women against us. They was literally doing that. They realized how much money that they made. They made a lot of money when we were in war, because women would spend money. Then eventually they weaponized marriages. Now, I can make more money if I divide the household. Now you have 2 mortgages per family. You have 2 Christmases, two birthdays you have to celebrate separately on the same particular day. I just monetized it. So guess what? If you want to destroy a person, if you want to destroy a man, create a civil war in his own household.
Well, that was a tactic that was used against. That was a tactic that was used against us as well, which is why our households are in the predicament that it's in. Because if you take the man out of the household and you provide the women with subsidies from the government,
if you put his woman against him, you created a civil war.
Well, but how do you put his woman against him? The woman have to feel empowered some type of way, right?
You weaponize divorce. Weaponize divorce. And that's exactly what
with your
did.
resources, which are not just divorce, but you give them
information.
Information. But guess what? While all this stuff is happening, just like a magician, I'm showing you this, but I'm actually doing this. That's exactly what they did. They treated it like a musician. As long as I keep you busy here fighting this particular war, you don't know the other shit that I'm doing.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I've been saying.
This particular issue, and that's not only a black struggle; that's an American struggle.
No, well, see, that's why I gotta disagree, because I'm like, when it comes to us, we've been the petri dish of America. Everything that's effective, all the effective methods that are used on other people was used on blacks.
We're getting the blunt of it. We're getting the blunt of it, 18 letter. I agree with you on that one. But that's a particular struggle that we're all facing. Just because we're the head of the race doesn't mean that we don't have a second and a third and a fourth place right behind us pretty much about to go through what we're going through.
No, I get that point, but the fact that I'm making is that when we're going through it, we don't have other people saying, "Hey, you're going through. We're going to stand with you guys because we understand." It's only till after it affects you. It's only after it affects certain people, then all of a sudden, it's what the black people were talking about. But when
Hey, letter, you want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
And I'm just making a prediction. I really don't know, but my prediction is when women start making more than men, child support is going to go away. Not only of that, what we have the divorce loss is going to go away too, because they're going to start agreeing with what we're saying right now.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't even know if you guys have noticed this, but the pharmaceutical companies are about to make a lot of money, and you know why? Because here's the tape. You've been talking about this. Since they have brainwashed women to be against men, and they do that with resources, not just giving the women resources, but you think of all of the resources that's put into these college commercials, the media, the movies, to make women believe that they don't need men. And then you have to, of course, get women spokesperson, other feminists behind that, and pay them handsomely so they can help brainwash the women. Then you separate the families, but guess what? A lot of women are going through what is their nature to be with a man, and it's making them conflicted, because I've been brainwashed to believe this for so long. I don't know how to turn back. I've been believing this since I was young, going to college.
And 18, you know when they realize it? They realize it when they're 45.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, right? Since men, we think logically. So you've spent all of this time putting down men. So now men have gone their own way. They found themselves another spouse and different things like that. You realize that you've been lied to, and it hits you like a ton of bricks, and you don't know how you can really live. So guess what? The pharmaceutical companies are here for you to sell you antidepressants.
You know what? Happens. Something that you just said though, like 18 Blatter, we're all being lied to. Like, that's the big problem. We like, I get what you're saying as far as the history, but like, we all being lied to, and I think that's what, as a collective human race, we trying to get back from, because accepting that reality for each individual. And
no, I agree to a certain extent. My argument is that when it has historically, not just historically, because this is still going on to this day, black people,
and this is why
black men, we don't have nobody standing with us. Like, we'll literally try to explain to people the system is rigged. The system, we was told stop being a victim. Or we're told, it's happened to everybody. It's only until it starts affecting people, then all of a sudden, other people, then all of a sudden it's, okay, we're all in the same boat. But we wasn't just in the same boat 20, 30 years ago. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the only thing I'm saying about that.
Yeah, but also, and this is why I'm so weary. This is why I'm so weary about these laws, because the thing is they evolve. A lot of people say, "Oh, this law is not bad," and it evolves. A good example would be the Great Society, right? Great Society, that it was first the government was gonna pay this amount of money, the men can't be in the household. Then in like 1968, 1969, they started saying, okay, we're gonna start getting the money from the man. It evolved. Then we're gonna send them to jail. You see how that evolved? And it just became more gross as it grew.
Well, it wasn't. It didn't evolve manosphere. It was the laws were changed to benefit to benefit, and that was the thing with the lawmakers and everything. They can change the laws and they can work the laws in a way.
That's why it's good to shut stuff down. That's why it's good to shut stuff down, because you have to. Why are they putting this law in place? For what particular reason? What is the long game? And sometimes you have to be proactive and try to figure out the long game. That's why I always stress. Figure out who you putting in office.
Hey, Witch Doctor, you still there, brother?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Hey, I just wanted to know if you can play a clip. I put a clip in the back chat.
You on your computer right now?
Yeah, I'm on my computer.
Could you just present it from your computer?
All right. Oh, you mean like open up another page and?
No, just hit present at the bottom and just share it.
Oh, okay. Let me see here.
Share screen.
Oh, share screen. Let me see if I can. Damn, I don't even know if I know how to do that.
Once you click on it, it's going to give you the option to pick a window. You'll pick the window that you're trying to direct us to. It'll only show that window.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see here. What does it say? Send to your devices, save as, print, forward. Yeah, because I clicked the share on the bottom of the video. I'm a little illiterate when it comes to this shit.
So once you click share,
it'll pop it up
right next to a facial diagram. It'll pop it up there, and you can control it through the window. It populated for you. The additional window it populated.
You go back to StreamYard from what you were sharing, and hit the share screen on the screen that's next to your face down at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, but you gotta have the
screen
video
up that you're sharing. You gotta share that out,
and you gotta have the video already open. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
You guys into snowboarding?
Hey, I used to play Cool Borders on
141 days in a row this year.
Yeah, on PlayStation, but I never.
Yeah, I never.
That counts. That counts.
I never. And I used to watch X Games here and there as a kid, but I never.
That movie Airborne was good. Airborne was good. That movie.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of ski resorts, but I never really skied or snowboarded.
Nice.
We went to resorts to
We're going up tomorrow.
Ski resorts.
Yeah, I went to a couple of ski resorts. Yeah.
So
it's not too many places on earth that you can walk around anymore and give people random high fives. Even at sporting events, it's kind of hard just to give a random person a high five. But up at the ski hill,
yeah,
I can give out like 1,000 high fives a day to everybody from every walk of life.
Yeah, you must really love high fives.
It's my favorite place in the world. I do.
You love high fives.
I'm the founding father of the High Five Stoke Tribe, and we work together with the High Vibe Love Tribe to spread love around the world. But only in the wintertime, because summertime, there's too much shit going on.
So I know around when it was the pandemic, I know y'all was not feeling that. People was not trying to give nobody no high fives and shit. 6 feet.
Yeah, that shut us. That shut us down for a year.
Yeah. To talk to people. My neighbors didn't even speak to anyone. Yeah. That stuff was going on.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't speak to nobody. I was like, fuck all of y'all. All of y'all is suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this is it right here. This is a movie. This is a scene from the movie Trick Baby in 1974. And that's one thing about the movies, man. They always put everything in the movies, and they're actually talking about this is Republicans and Democrats speaking about black people in 1974. Yeah. So I'll go ahead and press play.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
So yeah, and there's plenty of movies like that.
Straight up, yeah. I mean, that's when Hollywood could actually say shit like that.
Yeah,
guys like George Carlin could take the satirical route and twist it to actually mean something for the public. When now everybody's so hyper focused on information that. Oh yeah, he's a master. I mean, this country was bought and paid for long ago. It's one big fucking party, and we're not invited.
Political comedian.
Absolutely. I definitely agree, Uncle Fatty. You're absolutely correct.
Carlin's a master politician as well as a linguist, and
and even when you think about right, like all of these different countries, like that was created here in the West, a lot of the people that went above those ships, a lot of those people that went above those ships that came to these countries and colonized them. These people was like serfs in their country. Serfs, and people had the ultimatum: look, I can either stay in prison or go on this voyage to the new world, and what the fuck I got to lose? Shit, I'm gonna be a fucking prisoner here. So
it wasn't just the ones that went on the boat though. Don't forget they had a land bridge that they actually crossed from Alaska from Russia to Alaska. When the land bridge failed, people got to understand that people were here already, and they migrated as
the oldest mummy on earth.
It's like, for instance, when we're in Africa, what ended up happening is this particular area don't have enough food and for us to survive, so they migrated. Eventually, they found an area and they had a land bridge from Russia to Alaska. Then once they finally got over and the land bridge went down, then that separated us for like at least 10,000 years. You had people on ships going around near California, and this is how this place started to become populated. We were cut off from the world for a while. And this is the history that a lot of people don't get. So when they say they brought us all here on slave ships, no, some of us was already here. And as we all know, the closer you are to the equator, the more melanated you are.
Well, I'm talking about like in recent history. Like, I can't speak for the Native American people because I'm not a Native American. The only thing I can honestly say is that a lot of Native Americans do have the resemble facial features of Asians. And of course, the straight hair and different things like that. I'm not refuting that most people migrated. I mean, of course, people left out of Africa, and that's how you got all of these other groups of people, because due to the terrain that they left and migrated to, they experienced mutations and different things, and we became what we are today. Like, for instance, the Asian.
Because we adapt to our environment. And that's what a lot of people don't get. We adapt to our environment. Our bodies is constantly trying to survive. So it's going to adapt to the environment for that survival. And that's the part that a lot of people miss.
Well, like for instance, what you said, the Asians, they come from the Khoisan people, which is the Khoisan tribe of South Africa. And if anybody don't know, the Khoisan tribe is the tribe that Nelson Mandela belongs to. And when you look at Nelson Mandela, you can see the Asian features in his face. I'm not trying to be bigoted, anything like that.
In the northern Siberian, like the Siberian Indians or natives are, I mean, almost the same genetically now that we have the genetics behind it as Native Americans.
Yeah, I mean they literally migrated. Matter of fact, like they literally migrated
to Siberia.
Yeah, and the thing is you know, and that melanation has changed for what we call white people now due to the time period they were in colder climates.
Yeah.
More
so here's
more probable for them to actually have versus a melanated skin tone.
Yeah. So the Aryan nations did not really prescribe to white power or separatism, right? Because the Aryan race came from a lot of those early tribal Northern African, South Asian that developed more so in political realm, you know, in say Northern Europe. But there was a lot of weird nuance in how they kind of broke down the racial sphere when it came to acceptance into the group. But American, you know, the American side of that is that the systemic anti-black, anti-Asian, anti-anything, anti-pigmented, you know, came into it 10 times stronger than it would have, you know. But
yeah, and like I definitely agree, Uncle Fatty. And even when we speak about this, poor white people were not included in that as well. But they used the poor whites to fight against blacks and other groups of people to keep, you know, them distracted with
exactly
with their trying. Yeah, and I mean they literally said I can't remember the names of the people, but they literally said America, this land was built for white men. Like they literally used to say that. So like a lot of the things that I'm saying, I know Vapors and Manosphere would, you know, disagree, but this was literally built on, you know, systemic. It wasn't we all in this together in the beginning. It was literally we was a target. We was targeted by our own government as a group of.
You know what's crazy? Had that land bridge was if it was still possible for people to cross that land bridge, we would have been this place would have been highly populated. It would have been a mixed economy. Now, another thing with that is we have to look at how, because I'm not refuting the stuff that you say in 18 letter, because you know,
not to interrupt you, brother. Not to interrupt you. I just wanted to say, as you can see, because I didn't mean to interrupt Manosphere. That was Manosphere Vapors speaking. That was you, Manosphere? That was me.
That was me.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you get back to your point. I just wanted to point out, as you can see, the features of the Khoisan people. You can tell how deeply they resemble Asians. You see, they migrated, like what you were saying earlier. They literally migrated into Asia from Eastern, you know, from South Africa.
You have someone in the chat stating that the land bridge is a theory and a hypothesis. It is not a fact or truth, but you can actually trace it. You can actually, it's been proven, and you can trace it. Yeah. And another proof of it is,
did the land bridge exist during the Ice Age? Wasn't that the Ice Age that it existed?
Yeah, around that, roughly around that time.
Even today, on a good day, you could kayak from Alaska to Russia.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
So another thing is that proof of that, besides the human remains, proof of that, you have the pyramids are built the same from Africa and there, so they carry that knowledge along with them. So, and the only thing
South America
had the land bridge exactly. And that's those are the simple proofs that you can go through. It's not a hypothesis; it's actually a proven fact.
Yeah, especially now with genealogy and the DNA bank.
Exactly.
And another thing too, like I remember I was watching a clip with who was the woman? She's East African. She was a model, married to David Bowie, Iman. When they asked, they literally asked her in the clip. They said, are you, part European? And she said, no, I'm literally East African. If you was to do your DNA, you would see that I'm mostly of East African, and I may have some Arab there. And it's been an argument that's been noted that East African, Europeans got their features from East Africans, not the other way around. So how East Africans in that sector, like the Somalis, the Horn of Africa, they left and migrated into Europe. And of course, with the climate of Europe came the genetic mutations.
Yeah.
Just within
to create white people. Even when you think about white people's hair and how it grows down, it was to protect their neck from the ice and different things like that.
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. You hit it right on the head. And you guys ever seen that TV show called The Walking Dead?
Oh, that's my show, man. Yeah.
A bit. I'm not a zombie guy.
Okay, but no, it's not even really about zombies. It's about survival when you actually watch it. Okay.
Yeah.
So The Walking Dead, they did the exact same thing we did towards migration. What I mean about that is literally when one place had no more food, no more resources, they migrated. And that's exactly what the human population did. We migrated, and that's how we expanded.
Follow the herds. Yep.
And I wonder too in Northern Africa, because at one point that was green. So I wonder, how did it become desert?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was luxury, but
it's all just
think about all the times Pangea happened. Pangea happened at least 26 times. It happened at least 26 times, and all those shifts with the Titanic plates and pushing us back and forth, that changes the climate. When we're together, we're in a different climate. When they spread it back out, we're in a different climate. So that changed the environment, and eventually that part suffered.
Yeah. And you can see, like, these people literally share the same features as Asians.
Oh yeah. But
and like the northern Siberian natives are ultra, and then like the northern Yukon tribes and the Eskimos and stuff are genetic match to Asians and like Aztecs.
Mm-hmm.
So someone put in the chat that the landmass broke into parts. It did. And that's what stopped the migration.
Mm-hmm.
It did break into parts, and that's what literally stopped it. But before it broke into parts, people was migrating from Russia to Alaska to get to over here. That's what people are not getting. It did break apart, and that stopped people from migrating. That kept some people in Alaska, and that kept some people in Russia.
The oldest dated mummies used to be dated from North Africa, and we were like, like the 48,000 something year mark, and now the oldest carbon dated is coming out of Arizona.
And you know what's the perfect example with like what you guys have both been saying? Who remember when that dude, I think it was either a TV reporter or something, they told his ass not to go out there, but he went anyway. Sentinel Island off the coast of India, where like it has they haven't been touched, they haven't been exposed to like this.
I know you're talking about.
And those people literally look like Africans. They have not really evolved or anything like that. They've been there, they migrated there, and they haven't had any other human contact since they've been there. And I think one guy went over there, he ended up getting deleted, and because I guess the history.
Yeah, if I remember right,
they had arrows and all types of stuff. They was shooting at people they got close to, because I guess during some people came there before and they took 2 of the people from the tribe, or 3, and I think 2 of them came back, but one of them was deleted, or and then ever since then they just been passing it down from generation to generation. Don't let any outsiders come here, and they've carried that on, and that island is still untouched to this day.
And they some of their deities, some of their gods are airplanes. They don't understand the concept of technology and what airplanes actually are.
Yeah.
If they worship,
and you know what's crazy too about that? When Christopher Columbus and them first came down to the Caribbean area, a lot of people thought they were gods, because when they seen their
ships, horses,
they literally thought they were gods, and they brought them over. They had to bring them over. They had to literally bring them back for proof that, hey, with of course resources to show them, like, hey, this is what we found.
Yeah, and that's crazy too, because they saw the horses and the ships and everything, and they thought that these people, they were gods. And that brings you, like, after you think about it, right? All of those people that left into this colonization, and because that mentality still exists to this day, as far as the financial aspect. These people was like, look, man, I was considered a peasant in Europe. I got on this boat. We've lost people. Some of us barely had enough food. Some of us starved to death. We made it to this new world. We colonized this new group of people. We took all these resources. I'm sick of fucking paying Spain, and I'm sick of paying Britain. You know what? We ain't paying them motherfuckers no more. Like, literally, like, that's exactly why you got all of these independent wars. That's why you had all these. No, we freeing ourselves from Britain. We're becoming an independent nation. Cuba, we freeing ourselves from Spain. Mexico, we freeing. They literally got tired of paying taxes to the countries that they came from, and they felt like they was doing all the work. They felt like how we feel now when we see all the taxes coming out of our fucking checks.
Fellas, we need to wrap this shit up, man. We need to get y'all up out of here.
Go ahead, get
some sleep.
It's been a pleasure.
Great stream, man. Great stream.
Nice talking to you.
Appreciate you coming through too, Uncle Fatty. We usually be over here.
Sure.
You definitely need to come through. You was hanging with the fellas, you know what I'm saying? Definitely. Even though 18 Letter was trying to grill you, you know what I'm saying? But it seemed like you was on it.
Always nice to get some perspective.
No, I wasn't trying to grill him. I wasn't trying to grill him.
You made the other guy dip, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good, you know what I mean?
I love it. No, I love it. Yep.
I wasn't trying to grill.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but
put duct tape over their mouth. Put duct tape over their mouth.
She was very busy smoking blue pepper, and no name. It's spaghetti, yeah.